Hi everyone, in this video I am going to explain types of arguments in Python. To understand this lecture, it is advised to go through the lecture 35, that is previous video. Before starts this session, let us try to recall what have we covered in the lecture 35. What is formal argument and what are actual arguments? Positional arguments with coding. We discussed about keyword arguments and we covered coding part also. I explained you what is default argument and how to implement that with help of the coding. If we use mixture of the formal, positional and keyword arguments, how to use those and what is the condition we need to follow, we covered these points also in lecture 35. If you haven't watched that, please go through that for the better understanding of this video. After watching this video, you will be able to know when do we use variable length arguments, what is star args and double star kw args, in which form the args and kw args values will be stored, can we use different names in place of args and kw args, and we will see the applications where we use args and kw args in the real life. In the previous video, we started arguments concept. We have seen that we have 4 different types of the actual arguments in Python. Those are positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments and variable length arguments. And in the lecture 35 already we covered positional, keyword and default arguments, and we have seen the coding also. Now the 4th type is variable length arguments. In this video we are going to discuss about variable length arguments. So as we covered, 4th type of the arguments is variable length arguments. These variable length arguments are also called arbitrary arguments. Then when do we use these variable length arguments? Sometimes we want to pass a variable number of the arguments, or simply when the number of the inputs is not fixed in advance. In such cases we use variable length arguments. When we don't know how many number of the arguments to be passed to a function, in such cases we can use variable length arguments. And in variable length arguments also we have 2 categories. Those are arbitrary positional arguments and arbitrary keyword arguments. We will discuss these one by one. Coming to the first category, that is arbitrary positional arguments. Already we covered about positional arguments in the previous video. And coming to the arbitrary positional arguments, we can declare a variable length argument with star symbol. See here, for example, my function name is display. I want to store n number of the arguments. In such cases we use arbitrary positional arguments. When we use star symbol before the variable name, this is treated as arbitrary positional argument. Now we can store n number of the values in args. As we covered here, args is a variable name and we can store any number of the values. The values in args are stored in the form of tuple data type. To understand about arbitrary positional arguments, let us see some examples. See a simple example to understand arbitrary positional arguments. In the 3rd statement, I am defining a function with the name display and it has one argument name. And while calling that function in the 7th statement, display, I am passing one value, okay, Sravan Kumar. So will be stored in the argument name and I want to print that. In the 5th statement, I want to print that hello, the name will be printed here. The value of the variable name will be printed here. That is Sravan Kumar. So let me execute this. See the output, hello Sravan Kumar. So this is the implementation of a simple positional arguments only, not arbitrary positional arguments, because I know how many values I want to send, how many argument values I have to send, I know in advance, because here I want to send only one argument. But when I don't know how many number of the arguments to be passed, the variable length arguments may be passed. I don't know certain number. How can we implement that? This is the case where we use arbitrary positional argument. Now, for example, I want to send 3 names. Sravan Kumar is one name, Ramu is second name, Teju is third name. But if we execute this code, it raises an error because one argument is not capable to store 3 different names. Because we are sending 3 names, it raises an error. That's why if you write star before the variable name or before the argument name, it acts as arbitrary positional argument. Nothing but it can store n number of the values. So here, if you want to pass 2 values or 3 values or 4 values also, you can use the arbitrary positional argument concept. And these values will be stored in the arbitrary positional argument names in the form of tuple. By using the for loop, I collect each and every name into the variable name. The argument name is names and variable name is name, in which we collect each and every name, and I want to display that name in each and every iteration. Okay. So Sravan Kumar, Ramu, Teju will be sent to the display function, and in the arbitrary positional arguments, these are stored in the form of the tuple. In the first iteration, first name will be collected from the names, that is a tuple, and stored in a variable name, and I want to print that. In the second iteration, second value of the tuple, that is Ramu, from the names tuple, second value Ramu will be collected from the names and stored in the variable name, and I want to print that. In the third iteration, third value in the arbitrary positional argument names is Teju, will be collected and stored in the variable name, and that will be printed. Let me execute this. See, hello Sravan Kumar, hello Ramu, hello Teju. So we can send n number of the arguments by using arbitrary positional arguments. I think it's clear. For example, now I want to send 2 arguments only. This is also valid. You can send n number of the arguments. Let me execute. See now, hello Sravan Kumar, hello Ramu only. I think it's clear how to implement arbitrary positional arguments. See one more example. Suppose I want to find addition of the 2 numbers. We can write a function with 2 arguments, and we need to pass 2 values while calling that function. We know it. But with help of the arbitrary positional arguments, we can use the same code for the implementation of addition of 2 numbers, addition of 3 numbers, or addition of 4 numbers, and so on. It is very useful, right? See this code: define add function, variable length arguments args, and I want to find addition of the numbers. I want to store 0 initially in the variable result. I want to collect each and every element from this args, that is tuple, and stored in the variable element, and every time I want to add that element value and stored in the result. By default this is 0, and every time the elements will be added and stored in the result at each and every iteration. When it reaches to ending point of the args, that return complete value of the result. Okay. So in the case of 10, 20, so when you are trying to execute this program, 10 and 20 will be stored in args, and first iteration of the for loop, 10 will be stored in the element. Result assignment, result initial value is 0 na, 0 plus 10, that is 10. 10 will be stored in result, and again it reaches to second element in the args, that is 20. 20 will be stored in the variable element. Now result value is 10 from the previous iteration, right? 10 plus 20, 30. Then 30 will be stored in the result, and no more elements from the args when you pass 10, 20, right? So that return the result 10 plus 20, that is 30. Like this will be executed. You can send any number of the arguments by using the same function code. Let me execute this. See now 30, 100, where 30 is a addition of 10, 20, 100 is the addition of 10, 20, 30, 40. Next category in the arbitrary arguments is arbitrary keyword arguments. While implementing these arbitrary keyword arguments, we use double stars, 2 star symbols before the parameter in function definition, and that can hold keyword variable length arguments. We covered already what is keyword argument, right? Here we are trying to store multiple keyword arguments, variable length keyword arguments, when you use 2 star symbols before the parameter name in the functional definition. And what is kwargs? Kwargs is a short form for the keyword, and args means arguments, double star indicates variable length. Okay, variable length keyword arguments, and it stores the values in the form of key value pairs. It is used to pass a variable number of keyword arguments. The values within the variable length keyword arguments are stored in the form of dictionary. Then, is it mandatory to use kwargs? No, it is not mandatory to use the same name, that is kwargs. In place of the kwargs, you can use any name, but that must be preceded with double star symbol. Then only it acts as a variable length keyword arguments. See some example to understand the concept. Very simple example. Here we are implementing variable length keyword arguments. See, I have the function with the name print details, and we are sending the values in the form of key value pair. Key is name, value is Ramu, key is age, value of that age is 30. Like, we need to pass the values in the form of key value pairs. How many number of the key value pairs you want to send, you can, because here we are using variable length keyword arguments. It handle n number of the key value pairs, and when you are trying to execute this program, these key value pairs will be stored in variable length keyword arguments. And here we covered already, these values are stored in the form of dictionary, and we have a method called items, which is used to collect the values in the form of key and values, and that will be stored in the variable pair, and I want to print that in each and every iteration. So in the first iteration, key value pair name Ramu will be collected and stored in the variable pair, and that will be printed. And in the second iteration, key value pair age 30 will be collected and stored in the variable pair, and that will be printed. We covered the functionality of the for loop in the for loop video. You can go through that for the better understanding of this for loop. And already we covered how to use key value pairs in the concept of dictionary. That video is also available in the playlist. Please go through that for the better understanding of these concepts. Let me execute this. Now see, first key value pair is name and Ramu. Key is name, value is Ramu. Second key value pair age 30. Like, you can send n number of the key value pairs. See one more example. I want to send 3 key value pairs, 3 different person names and ages of those persons. See, Ramu 30, Teju 25, Sri 20. We are sending 3 person details. Name is a keyword, value is Ramu, and one more pair of key value, age is a key, 30 is a value of that key. Like, I want to send 3 persons details, and at the runtime, first this will be executed, where print details is a method name, and these 2 key value pairs will be stored here and collected with help of the items method. And now I want to store key in key variable, value in value variable. If you want to use different variables here, you can use, nothing wrong in that. After the execution of the first calling, it returns to 6th statement again, Again same method will be called with this key value pair and this key value pair. Name Teju, age 25. Again that will be collected into key and value. Like you can send n number of the key and value pairs. For example, if you want to add third key value pair within the fifth statement, like GIGHT, height, assignment, something 6 feet, let us say. You can send like this also. Like this you can add n number of the key value pairs. Let me execute this. Output for the first function calling is name Ramu, age 30, height 6. And output for the second function calling Teju, name Teju, age 25. Output for the third function calling is name Sri, age 20. So like if you want to add n number of the key value pairs, fourth one, fifth one and so on. I think it's clear. See some real life example for the better understanding of the concept, where we use args and kwargs. So these variable length arguments can be used to handle various types of the notifications with different numbers of recipients and different types of the data dynamically. Nothing but I want to send to the X person email with some subject. Next, I want to send some SMS to two people with different messages. Like here, different number of the recipients we use star args. Different type of the data we can use kwargs. Try it and see one more real life example. Restaurant ordering system, where we can pass different number of the dishes. We use star args. For that we can store any number of the dishes, and their customization options like extra, size, like that. I will show you the code for it. See the code for restaurant ordering system. See, I have a function called place order. It has 3 arguments. First, I have an argument customer name. It stores only one value. This is a normal argument, right? And see here, I have second argument, but before that name we have star. It indicates it is a arbitrary positional argument. It can handle any number of the values, right? And third argument is customization. Here we have 2 star symbols. Nothing but it is arbitrary keyword arguments. It can store any number of key value pairs. Order for, then customer name will be printed. We will pass that value while calling that function, and I am using 2 for loops, one for to printing the dishes, one for to print the customization values. And we covered already the values of args is stored in the form of tuples, and the values of variable length keyword arguments are stored in the form of dictionary. So I am using that related code here we covered just now. Okay. And see the 11th statement, I am calling the function place order. I am passing one value Sri, that is a customer name. That value will be stored in the customer name positional argument. And next, I am sending 2 values, 2 dishes. We can send n number of the dishes names. So here I am sending 2 dishes names. Pizza and burger will be stored in dishes. With help of the for loop, I want to print the names of those dishes. And coming here, these are key and value pairs. We know that already. N number of the key value pairs are stored with help of the kwargs, keyword arguments, variable length keyword argument. Size key value is small. Pizza and burger size should be small. That is my customization. And I want extra cheese. Keyword is extras and value for that key is extra cheese. Like you can customize your order. You can use any key name and value. Alright. So in this case, the function will be called and these values will be sent to the function place order. In the same way, in the second call of the same function, customer name is Tej and dishes or idli and vada will be stored in dishes, and key value pairs, we have 2 key value pair, number of idli 2, mandatory sambar is mandatory, like that. Okay. Let me execute this. See the output. Order for Sri, pizza, burger. Customization, size small, extra cheese is needed, right? Then order for Tej, idli, vada. Customizations, number of idli 2, mandatory sambar. This is how to use arbitrary positional arguments, arbitrary keyword arguments in real time. I think it's clear. Check your knowledge, what you learned from this video. When do we use variable length arguments? What is args and kwargs? In which form the args and kwargs values will be stored? Can we use different names in place of args and kwargs? And we have discussed some applications of variable length arguments. If this video is useful to you, please do subscribe the channel to get more videos like this. Watch the videos, like and share the videos. Thank you.